All right, my friends, we're going to try to set up this generate static param stuff for our snippet show page. I'm going to go back over to my editor. I'll find the source, app, snippets, ID, page.tsx file. At the very bottom of this file, I'm going to export a function with a very special name. It has to be called generate static params. This is going to be an async function. And then all we have to do inside of here is fetch all the different snippets from our database and then return an object for each one that looks like this right here. And again, that key of this object is going to be used to substitute in a value for ID in that URL right there. To fetch all the snippets out of our database, we'll do a snippets is await db.snippet find many. We'll then map over those. And for each snippet, we will return an object that has an ID property of snippet.id. Okay, now when we run our build command, this function is going to be called automatically. And I just want you to know that the first time we run this, we're going to see an error because this is an error. Once again, I think you're going to probably see on your own personal projects. So I just want you to understand this error and just expect it to come up. In my terminal, I'll do a npm run build. This will go for a little bit, and then eventually we'll just see a big blob of text. There it is right there. And as soon as you see this, you might be tempted to just give up and say, I don't want to deal with this. But I encourage you, scroll up and take a look at the actual error message. It says a requested parameter, ID, was not provided as a string and received a number instead. So whenever we run generate static params, Next expects to get values in this object that are strings. And remember, our IDs, that's right, they are numbers. So to fix that error, all we have to do is turn it into a string. That's it. Now, if we run npm run build again, it's going to succeed, and we're going to notice that the build output is a little bit different this time. So take a look at the build output now. It's telling us that it's found snippets/ID, and then it ran generate static params, and it made cached versions of pages 1, 2, 18, and 19. So now I want to show you something really quick. I'm going to start up my application in dev mode. In dev mode, we are not doing any of this page caching stuff. It's solely a production thing. When we're running in dev mode, remember that whenever we go to the show page for one of these snippets, we've got that arbitrary 2-second pause as we load up some data. We left that in pretty much for this entire reason. Now let's try turning on our server in production mode. So I'm going to stop the server and do a npm run start this time. Now we're going to be in production mode. And I've got a little bit of an error here. Let me try just rebuilding really quick. That error was completely unexpected, but there we go. Start it back up. Okay, now we're good to go. So now I'm going to refresh. And whenever I go to one of my show pages now, take a look at what happens. It loads instantly because we are not running that function to load any data. There's no pause in there anymore. We are seeing the cached version of this page. So we can load each of these instantly and we have no delay. The only problem now is that, of course, we have cached pages, which means now we're back in that same scenario we were before. If we edit one of these things, I'll change this thing by adding in the text really well right there, and I click save. I'm going to go back over to the cached version of this page. After I refresh it, so refresh, I see the cached version now, and that updated text goes away. So once again, we need to control our cache a little bit. To control the cache, because we know exactly when our data is changing, we can use this on-demand cache management stuff. So let's take care of this really quickly. Back over inside my editor, we'll find the actions index.ts page. Whenever we edit a snippet, we want to revalidate the page or the path that that snippet belongs to. So right above the redirect inside of edit snippet, we change the snippet and we're going to say, go ahead and revalidate the path of snippets/ID, because that's the URL that we go to whenever we view a individual snippet. Now to test this out, once again, I will rebuild really quick. I really wish you could test this without having to rebuild every time, but that's life. There we go. And now we will do a npm run start. And now we should be able to edit our snippet. And I'm going to add in another a plus b right here. I'm going to save. We're going to go back over to our show page. I'm going to refresh. And now when we refresh, we no longer get the old cache version. We now get the new cache version, which has the brand new plus A plus B on it. Okay, that is it. We've now covered everything in this application, unless I think of something else between now and the next video. So the big takeaway at the end of this app, more than anything in this entire project, like we went over a lot of small things, and they're all just kind of implementation details, but I really can't say it enough. This caching stuff is huge, and it's going to cause you giant issues when you go to deploy your application. So we're going to focus on caching a lot throughout the rest of this course. We're going to take a look at some of these other caching systems as well, because as nice as they are, they really make your application super fast. They also cause some problems every now and then, and you need to understand how to debug these, how to configure them, and so on.